The world of technology moves faster than anything else in human history today. One day you are the king and the next day you quietly disappear. This is the story of a company that once owned the web. They were called Netscape and became the very first true internet stars. Most people today have never even heard of this once famous brand. Yet, without Netscape, the internet would look very different than it does now. They built the tools we still use to browse every website today. Then, they faced a giant that was never afraid to fight dirty. That giant was Microsoft, and it wanted total control of the digital world. This is a tale of innovation, greed, and several very costly mistakes. It is a story about how a startup changed the entire world forever. You will see how a monopoly can crush even the best ideas quickly. The early days of the internet were quiet and extremely difficult to use. Most computers were not connected to each other in any meaningful way. A young man named Marc Andreessen wanted to change this boring reality. He was working at a university lab when he created something special. It was a program called Mosaic that showed pictures and readable text. Before Mosaic, the web was mostly limited to scientists and academics. People loved Mosaic because it made the web feel like a magazine. Marc decided to move to California to start a real business soon. He met Jim Clark, who had already made millions in technology. Jim Clark was the founder of a company called Silicon Graphics. He immediately saw the potential in Marc and his young hacker team. They decided to build a better version of the Mosaic browser together. The new company was called Netscape and it grew incredibly fast. They released their browser for free to students and charged businesses. Everyone wanted to use Navigator to explore the new digital world. The speed of growth was something the tech industry had never seen. Netscape became the fastest growing software company in business history. They added millions of new users every single month early on. The company decided to go public just 1 year after starting. This was a bold move for a company with no real profits. On IPO day, the stock price surged in a dramatic way. Shares opened at $28 and quickly reached $75. This made the young founders extremely wealthy in a short time. It also signaled the beginning of the famous dot-com bubble. Wall Street suddenly realized the internet was the future of business. Netscape became the poster child for this exciting new industry. But a giant was quietly watching from Redmond, Washington. Microsoft did not believe the internet mattered very much at first. Bill Gates focused on desktop software and powerful office tools. He believed users wanted local programs instead of web pages. This became one of the biggest strategic mistakes in tech history. By the mid-1990s, Bill Gates realized the massive error. He saw users spending most of their time inside browsers. If browsers became the platform, then Windows could slowly die. Browsers could run programs without relying on Microsoft software. This realization shocked the leadership team at Microsoft deeply. Bill Gates wrote a memo called The Internet Tidal Wave. He told everyone the internet was now the top priority. Microsoft had to stop Netscape before it became unstoppable. They quickly licensed browser code from another company. This became Internet Explorer and it was given away free. This move directly attacked Netscape's entire business model. Microsoft also bundled Internet Explorer with every new computer. This strategy is called bundling and it is extremely powerful. Most users never download alternatives when software is already installed. Netscape now faced a free product that existed everywhere. This marked the beginning of the first browser war. Microsoft used its wealth and influence to push Netscape aside. Computer makers were pressured to include Internet Explorer. Those who refused risked losing access to Windows licenses. This made it nearly impossible for Netscape to reach users. The battle grew increasingly aggressive between both companies. Netscape tried staying ahead by shipping new features constantly. They created cookies which let websites remember users. They also built secure encryption for safe online payments. These innovations are still used across the internet today. A Netscape developer named Brendan Eich created JavaScript. He built the first version in just 10 days. JavaScript later became the most popular programming language globally. Despite innovation, Netscape continued losing market share. Microsoft's distribution power was impossible for a startup to match. By the late 1990s, Internet Explorer dominated the browser market. Netscape was forced to search for help from larger companies. The United States government began investigating Microsoft's practices. They believed Microsoft was abusing monopoly power unfairly. The trial became a global spectacle lasting several years. Footage of Bill Gates showed him tense and defensive. The judge ruled Microsoft was an illegal monopoly. He even suggested breaking the company into two parts. However, the legal process moved far too slowly. By the final ruling, the browser war had already ended. Netscape had lost nearly all of its users. As losses mounted, Netscape agreed to sell to AOL. The deal was valued at over $4 billion. Despite the price, the merger quickly fell apart. AOL struggled to manage a fast-moving software company. Innovation slowed and top engineers began leaving. Netscape became just another forgotten brand. The final browser version was released years later. It is hard to believe Netscape once ruled the web. Yet, their story did not end with the acquisition. Before selling, they released their browser source code publicly. This decision sparked the open source Mozilla project. The goal was to keep the web open forever. Mozilla later created the Firefox browser. Firefox became the first real challenge to Microsoft again. It proved communities could build powerful technology together. Even though Netscape died, its spirit survived in code. We still feel Netscape's influence across the internet today. They showed the world what the internet could become. Their story teaches lessons about power and scale. Being first is not enough to guarantee success. You must control how users reach your product. Distribution often matters more than having the best product. Microsoft owned the platform while Netscape owned innovation. Owning the platform means controlling user attention. Innovators must always watch slow-moving giants carefully. When giants move, they use scale to win quickly. Protect your niche and remain impossible to replace. Netscape's story shaped technology and competition laws. The web exists today because of their early risks. They changed the world even though they lost the war.